Welcome to the Responsible Negotiation Podcast, produced by the DC Mediation and Dispute Resolution Institute. I am your host, Francis Ojok. Here at the Institute, we prevent, manage, resolve, and transform conflict into an opportunity for positive change using mediation and other appropriate dispute resolution mechanisms. Visit our website to learn more or contact us at info@dcmediationinstitute.com and let us know how we can work with you or collaborate with you. Without further ado, let's get to the show. A lot has been said, and we hope that this conversation does not end here. We pray you leave this session either inspired or challenged to put into use all that you have heard. And I could not think of anybody other than our next speaker who could lead us better into putting into use what we have learned today. I am honored to invite Professor Singh to give a closing remark. A little bit about Professor Singh. He is Judge Danny Weinstein's managing director of the Strauss Institute for Dispute Resolution at Pepperdine University, Caruso School of Law, where he also served as Associate Professor of Law and Practice and direct the LLM program. In 2017, the government of India recognized him as a giant scholar for his teaching in the dispute resolution field. He received an LLM in dispute resolution from the University of Missouri, Columbia. He earned his PhD from the National Law University, Delhi. Without wasting time, Dr. Singh, wow. You're welcome.
That is so kind, man. Come on. Now I feel like this is a family. This is what I was missing during the holidays. Thank you all. I'm so humbled. But I'm humbled in your presence. Mr. Muhammad, I think it's the first time I'm hearing you, but what piece of wise wisdom you already shared with us about listening, talking to each other, and the fact that we need to discuss among our community. We work with disputants, but we don't spend enough time talking to each other. What a wonderful gift you've already given us with those wise remarks. I am humbled to be here, folks. I'm sure I'm missing folks, but I need to move on to my small. I don't want to give you long remarks, but I challenge you on a couple of things. I like to challenge myself and others. I am going to be provocative a little bit, as you can imagine from me. And I'm overcoming some things, so my voice is different, though I like this kind of voice, so maybe I will keep it. I don't know. I go to doctor, can I keep this? Anyways, it's a little deeper. I like it. But if you have issues with my voice, that's because I've been under the weather for a few days. Let me just get started. The question I want to raise to you all, besides the fact of are we neutral or not, is neutrality a bias? Is a question I want to raise to you. Is neutrality a bias? Is the fact that we are neutral, is that a bias? Why do I pose that question? I want to make you think about it. I think what truly bothers us is in front of us, but we run away from it. We don't like to face it. The fact when Joyce said that we need forums like this to break the silence is, I think, what she is referring it to. Because we are ignoring it, we're distracting ourselves, we're constantly being comforted by our comfort. Fake comfort. It is what it is. We have learned to do it very well as humans, right? Today, in today's world, we are in fact becoming masters at it, masters of deception. We have a private face and a public face, and we have found a space, a place to put one or the other. Now, partly it is needed. I get it, because I understand the concept of internal peace. I need to have internal peace to be with my family, with my kids. Many of you know I have two beautiful children now. I want to be home for them. I want to be safe. I want to control my social circle. Many of you want to control your public perception while keeping private convictions. But this idea of self-deception is what I want to raise. Where are we headed as a human society? We call ourselves neutral, but is that a bias? Let's dig deeper into bias, if you love me, right? One of the deception, self-deception as a bias. One of the fields I was studying lately is the field of hatred. Do you know that hatred needs to be studied from interdisciplinary places, not just one or two areas? It's a basis of our human conditioning, hatred. Yet we have no synthesis of academic disciplines where we look at problem holistically, which we should. Not just as Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, Baha'is, Universalists, humanists, atheists, but as a community of philosophers, academicians, practitioners, biologists, neuroscientists, mediators, lawyers, judges, you get the point. So I only have few more ideas to make you think, myself think. I don't have any answer, but maybe through this discussion, as Mr. Muhammad rightly said, maybe we can collectively come close to seeking an answer. I want to make us think further. I think we deceive ourselves because we are good at it, because we have two narratives in our mind. Again, I could be wrong, forgive me. The two narratives in my mind are pretty strong, right? Narrative one, I am a good citizen and I'm doing everything I can to make things right. So I don't have to speak about wars. I don't have to speak about Israel, Hamas. I don't have to speak about Kashmir. I don't have to speak about Syria. I don't have to speak about immigration at US border. I don't have to speak about any of those things. What's the sub premise to that narrative? I am doing everything, hence I am good. But there's issues with that. Number one issue, we are not doing everything because we can always do more. And number two, even if you're doing, if thinking you're doing everything, or I'm thinking I'm doing everything, we can do it better. We can do it together. We can learn from each other. We can do it intra-religious and interreligious, interdisciplinary and interdisciplinary, as I said earlier. And we can educate ourselves further. Today, I learned the beautiful way Joyce Mitchell spoke about silence. I'm already a fan of hers. Disclaimer, sorry, bias going on here. I already like her. But when she talked about silence, it reminded me of Gautama Buddha, who have said beautifully, do not speak unless you can break the silence. And I think Joyce is telling us it's time to speak because silence needs to be broken. Let's go back to my question. I'm doing everything on my premise. Therefore, I'm good. Challenge one, we are not doing everything. Challenge two, even if you're doing everything, we can do it better. We can relearn. We can re-educate ourselves. We can evolve. We must evolve. We should change. We must change. Folks, I would have been utterly unsuccessful in a new country where I've immigrated to, a country called United States of America. Beautiful land. I love it. Love it here. The reason I've been able to accomplish a few things in this country, a few things, is because I've challenged myself. My notion of what is life, what is to be a man, what is my role as a Sikh person? What is my role as a father? Constantly getting challenged on that one. But the point here is narrative number two. Here is the bigger issue in our society currently, I think, on the question of neutrality, which is this. Narrative two, I think we have is anything I can possibly do won't make a big difference. What can I do? I'm sitting in LA. What can I do? I'm sitting in Beirut. I'm sitting in New Delhi. I'm sitting in Rio de Janeiro. Who am I to do anything? I'm not a president of a country. I'm not an author like Ken Cloak is. Then what can I do, right? Then there are two issues with that narrative. Issue number one, we are distancing ourselves from human conditioning based on groupism. Because as long as it's not my family, my group that is getting killed or that's getting impacted, I'm okay with it. Now comes the real question of empathy. Right? We all teach work with empathy. What are limits to empathy? Looks like we have internal subconscious limits to empathy. As long as something doesn't happen to my child, I'm okay with it. Oh, it's a different religion, I'm okay with it. Oh, it's a different part of the world, I'm okay with it. As long as I'm safe, safety, convenience, I'm okay with it. Oh, here comes the second issue, second problem, as many of us face, I face on a daily basis. Here comes it. Are you ready for this? Every action I take can make a difference. We all know that, right? We all know that. Gandhi has said it beautifully, way better than I've said. But let's go deeper into that. The fallacy, the problem with that issue is now one click and one like is enough. I've done my part. I've made a comment on Facebook. I did my part. I'm good. I've taken care of my Muslim friends, my Jewish friends. I am good. Why? Because I liked one comment on each side. Good, right? We're good now. So it's not just I can't take much actions because I don't have power. It's also because I am taking actions because I've liked some comments and I'm good. So if we live in this world and let's decipher it, what are we doing here? We are lying to ourselves because, let me say it again, because of the five limitations: safety, social circle, public perception, private conviction that I'm not honest about, and self-deception. If I live in this world of five controlling objectives, then I'm not going to be honest with you because I'm safe. And in this country where I live in, safety is a top priority. I am safe. I am comfortable, right? This beautiful Brazilian saying, I love visiting Brazil. I spoke at their federal judicial department last year in October, very kind judges, federal judges, some of my students as Francis Ozak, who's doing so wonderful, is my student, and I'm so proud of him. And they came to pick me up at the airport, and I was very humbled. And I read a quote to them. I said one of my famous quotes about traveling is comes from Brazil, and the quote is, um, "Traveling is one profession that makes you change the clothes of your soul." So how often do we change the clothes of our soul, sitting at our comfortable desk before our comfortable screens? So let me go towards conclusion, right? I'm making you think so far. I hope I can give you a few things to take away, if I not just questions. Though in Eastern philosophy, it's perfectly fine to raise questions, right? But in the Western philosophy, we have to give some pointers. So this self-confirmation bias, this idea that I will listen to news that supports my belief, and therefore I like that channel. This idea that I will talk to people who look like me, think like me, go to the same church, synagogue, or mosque. This idea that others are evil and we are good. I mean, it's beautifully said before me. It's an age old idea. It's not new, right? But it goes back to that idea of groupism. Empathy is, if it's my family, I'm impacted, I'm troubled. Everybody else, So is neutrality a form of bias? Have we come to a place where we have comfort? We've chosen comfort as a sense of a word. I'll give you one simple example. I have a friend from Oregon. I won't name him. He's a dear friend, and he recently bought a hybrid. A very not a hybrid, a fully electric car. Sorry, not hybrid. I'm very proud of it. He's telling me, change your car, get a. You need to save environment. Give me a whole lecture. I got it. I got it. I asked him, how much did you flew last year? He said, oh, not many. Just went to 14 different countries. So I said, okay, do you understand your electric car versus the flying? And he wasn't willing to listen to me about that part at all. This idea of what is self-confirmation bias. If I have said, great, you've got electric car, you've done your part, that's like clicking or commenting and I'm done. So I think the real issue we are facing is not the 5 issues I've said or the premises I've said. The real issue is two: our willingness to step into a situation that needs our help, not my sole help, I'm being very humble, collective help. And number two, our mind. We need a constant, sustained effort, not one day, one time, 1 minute, I'm done. So, how do I create willingness? That's not easy. How do I tell you to change or to go look deeper? Today, I saw a YouTube, my daughter sent me a video about a gentleman here in the US who is finding people who do scams internationally. And he spent this 1 hour video. He spent, I don't know how many months he spent to finding out the scammers from the country of my origin, India, who've been scamming people about about technology. About it was about a geek squad, the fake geek squad they call it. If you Google it, it's not the Best Buys geek squad, somebody else. And I was appalled by what's happening. I was surprised by what's happening, and I was so happy to see this gentleman spent months of his time. One man with a mind found a group of 14 men across the world who were scamming, and he got them to justice. And it makes me think, such a simple different example makes me think, what can we achieve if we want to achieve something? If we are willing to do it, what can we do? The question is willingness, right? We have heard about removing hate, removing or bringing peace. We talked about education awareness. We know that, number one. We talk about creating space, safe spaces for constructive dialogues. Number two, right? We talk about sharing personal stories and narratives to change someone's heart, creating empathy through common ground. We know that, right? We talk about facilitating people or community events so people come with groups. We talk about systematic issues that contribute to hate, such as discrimination and racism. We talk about critical thinking that portrays stereotypes in media. We have seen all of that. And I'll throw one more in. We talk about even individual work that have shaped our world, the people who are radical and who have revolutionized our thinking. We can talk about all of the above, but it comes down to our willingness. How can we teach our next generation to be willing, to be brave, to be courageous, to bring the change? And that's the point. What can we leave them with that we have failed as a community, as a society? I'm not even saying as mediators, that's a very high word, right? As a community. But what are we leaving this world with? And they don't see my action or your action or Mr. Muhammad or Joyce Mitchell action. They see the action of what is happening around the world, and they're judging us. And I hope they're not giving up on us. So my Only piece of advice, besides beautifully said already, we have to talk to each other. We have to listen to each other. And listening is not easy. We have to change our mindset. We have to learn what motivates us, and we have to learn what sustains that motivation to bring the change. So I'm struggling. I'm with you. I'm struggling on what can be my contribution, but that's not the issue. That's selfish thought. A non selfish thought is what's our issue? What can we do? And I appreciate the beginning of this conversation. I hope today was a warm up, a series one of hopefully a few series, if not one at least extra, where we all get together and think further what we have learned from each other.
Are you ready to become the change you want to see in your community or in your workplace? If so, check out our tailored workshops and mediation skills, training, and certifications designed to equip you with the practical skills to become an effective conflict resolver and a certified mediation practitioner. Now, let's get back to the show.
One thing Ken said that is powerful, beautiful, and we all need to listen. When biases takes over, we stop listening. So it comes down to that, right? My motivation stops, my sustained effort stop because I know, so I'm done. I've made up my mind and I'm gonna see, hear, talk, be with people, with friends who help me sustain my bias. And how do I break that cycle? It's been a joy being with you all. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know it's a few days before New Year's. But I wanted to share just a few thoughts with you all. Some of my teachers are here in this room, so if I continue talking too much, they'll find too many mistakes, so I need to stop, right? Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Professor Singh. Thank you, everyone, for attending this conference. Thank you for gracing us with your time and participation in this greatly important conversation. And a very special thank you to our keynote speaker, Mr. Cloak, our panelists, and to our closing speaker for your time and for your insightful and inspiring presentations. As this conference comes to a close, I would like to leave us with some food for thought. There must be a connection between being a mediator and being an activist. This is because as peacemakers, our goal is peace, which means that it is necessary to address the root causes of conflict in order to create lasting peace. When the root causes of a conflict are exploitative political and economic systems, including colonialism, apartheid, and the global demand for cheap natural resources, dialogue, although important, will not be enough to directly address the root causes of this violence. Rather, activism and movements, alongside dialogue, address the root causes of violence and historically have been successful in paving the way to lasting change. Therefore, as mediators and as peacemakers, we have a duty to also be activists against today's systems of oppression and exploitation. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed this conference, that you learned something new, that it invited you to think and reflect, and that you go forth and do the work of peace, even if it means forgoing neutrality when there is injustice.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. You can support us by leaving a 5-star review. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this podcast to stay informed whenever we upload a new episode. See you in the next episode.